Jim, when you first saw BodiTrak, when you gave us the time of day, I was amazed at how flexible and open you were to letting us use pressure at your studio. Can you tell me about, you've always been an innovator, but what caught your eye on this?
Well, usually I can look at something in golf and tell pretty quick whether I like it or not. And I could see right away that this was something really cool, something I could put on the ground anywhere. Didn't have to have a huge force plate, which I had seen before, and actually we'd had at Trump National Doral. But this is something very special, and I could see the data come up, and it was just great, and I knew right away it was for me.
Jim, you've been a big fan of Hogan and Ventura over the years. I'm just wondering, what did those instructors do in those days to try to help golfers with their balance? What are some of the techniques that they were using back then?
Well, you used feel. You used your eyes. You could see what somebody's doing pretty well. BodiTrak, of course, takes this to a different level because there's no guessing anymore. You can actually see it. I think a great teacher can come pretty close, but BodiTrak allows you to see the numbers perfectly.
Jim, earlier today at a seminar at Holland College, you mentioned an example of using VHS tapes as pro samples. Now, you're obviously one of the pioneers in video. I'm just wondering, do you think there's some advantages possibly in using pressure for pro sample comparisons as well?
Oh, absolutely. You know, I'm a big proponent of seeing what the pros, the best players in the world are doing, and understanding the moves they're making, the way they're using their body in the golf swing. It's so important. When people can see the numbers as they can in BodiTrak, it's better than me telling them that looks right, that's correct, how do you feel? This shows you the numbers right off the bat, and you know if you're doing it right.
Now, you've been the pioneer in terms of understanding how to categorize these traces with these 7 traces of golf. Just want to talk to you a little bit about Jason Day because he's having such a great run. Now, his trace with his driver is what we call a fish hook, where it looks literally like a fish hook, and yet his iron trace is pretty linear. So obviously there's a difference between how you would pressure map or how you would want to pressure map your driver versus your irons. Is in the old days, did you guys used to teach, not that you're old, but in the older days, did you guys teach differently for the drivers than your irons, or were you just teaching all the same?
Well, I think a lot of people have taught the same swing for every club, when in fact that's not true. Using and researching video, as I've done, with probably the greatest researcher, I'm sure, in the world, Carl Welty, we could see that the head moved differently in a driver. There was a natural move back with a driver, more behind the golf ball with a driver, and certainly more forward with a short iron. So there's no question the swings are different. And you can do that so effectively with BodiTrak. That's just something that's invaluable and something that most amateurs really are clueless. And once they can feel it, you can use the little biofeedback. You can go back and forth and on the mat, off the mat, back on the mat. And then they can really sense the feel of how the body should be at setup, how it should be at transition, and how it should be at impact.
Jim, fantastic. Welcome to Charlottetown. Great to have you here.
Thank
you very much.
Thank you.